find out what the interests of people are and try to balance them, because that's what legislation should be all about.
What you have to look at is how the light rail has transformed Charlotte.
We always want to be out front, showing what can be done.
We govern best when more people have a voice.
Thank you for watching the show. You be encouraged.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Paul Brown Show. This evening...
You guys did great.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Testing 1, 2, 3. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Paul Brown Show. This evening, my guest will be Miss Jeanne.
Find out what the interests of people are and try to balance them, because that's what legislation should be all about.
What you have to look at is how the light rail has transformed Charlotte.
We always want to be out front, showing what can be done.
We govern best when more people have a voice.
Thank you for watching the show. You be encouraged.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Paul Brown Show. This evening, my guest will be Miss Jeanne Kennedy. She's with the V.I.P, Violence, Intervention, and Prevention.
Yes.
How you doing, Miss Kennedy?
Okay.
Violence, intervention, and prevention. What are some of the reasons for increasing violence in our community?
Well, my concern is that it's not decreasing at all. In 2016, it was a record homicide in Charlotte. In 2017, I believe it's going to be even more so, because we're sitting around a lot talking about it. We talk about what is the problem. We all know that crime is something that the kids think is common. It's cool. They glamorize the guns, the drugs, the cars, the clothes, the jewelry. We know why they do it, because that's what they know. They were taught that. They grew up in households that don't have enough food to eat. The rent is not paid. The lights are turned off. So the children go out and they sell drugs to provide for themselves. So that's one reason. We know why it's happening. We don't know what to do about it. That's why I'm here today, to try to figure out what to actually do about it.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. I'm glad you came in.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens when our children are exposed to more violence and different kind of violence?
They get desensitized. They're looking at something that happens on the porch. A young man gets his head blown off. So the police come, the ambulance come. They get flowers, balloons, T-shirts. They go to the candlelights. They go to the funerals. They come home, they smoke weed, drink a 40, and then it's on to the next homicide. So it's like, it's not a shock for them anymore. They've seen 20 of their cousins dead already. So this is another one. But on the inside, they're devastated. They're devastated because that's their family, that's their blood. They don't want their family gone from them. And they're afraid that they're next.
Okay, what impact do you feel does TV media have on the violence in our community? I mean, because you see a lot of it in, like, not only the TVs, but games that the kids play,
Right.
things like that. I mean, so how much of an impact does that play in the violence in our community?
It's not portrayed as something negative anymore. Violence, if it's not in the music, if it's not in a show, if it's not in a movie, then that movie is not going to make any money. If there's no violence in it, it's the excitement, the thrill. So the kids look at this, I want to do that. They pick up a gun and they feel so powerful. So it was on TV, it must be okay. Especially the younger ones, they don't know any difference. They can't separate reality from fiction. They see a gun in a person's hand, they see somebody shoot someone, then that person next day is on the porch doing nothing but laughing and joking about it. So the young ones said, well, this is okay then. There's nothing wrong with it. And they do it. They follow what they see on TV.
So what do we as parents do to kind of like prevent this? Because we're allowing them to watch these things on TV.
Exactly. We allow them to be our babysitter. The television is the new babysitter. Some parents don't even know what their children are watching on TV. They don't know that New Jack City is what their kids are looking at, and then their kids go outside and try to be Nino. So we can stop that by monitoring what they're looking at, actually knowing what's on that screen.
Do you think in 2017 we can really monitor that violence that's coming up? Because you got it in, I mean, you can watch it on, kids watching on the cell phone. I mean, they got the cell phones out there, they got the TV, parents at work. I mean, how do we as parents, we can't be there all the time to really monitor. We can teach them, but then again, how do we kind of like, I mean, how much does the blame go on allowing those things to happen? I mean, to actually come on TV.
That is a big problem. Like you said, you can't monitor everything. You can monitor in your home, though. Like my grandchildren, they have a rule in my house with my grandchildren: no guns, no knives, no violence. They can't even play with water guns because I don't want them desensitized to violence. But when they're at Garinger High School, when they're at their elementary schools, when they're out in the community, when they're at their friends' houses, I don't know what they're looking at. I don't know what gun is on the table in front of them. So you can only monitor so much in front of you. So you have to get it in their mind to monitor themselves. When they go out there, be their own monitor.
How can we avoid violence, crime in our community?
Wow, that is a huge, huge question, and it's going to take a huge amount of solutions to do. Right now, at this point, I think the basic answer, there is no way, but there's got to be a way. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find out what in the world can we do about it? What can we actually do? I want answers. A lot of other people want answers. There's a few things like you can not buy a gun. If you don't have a gun in your hand, you're not going to shoot a gun. You're not going to shoot a person. But the other side of that coin is that you live in the hood. Nobody in the hood can walk around without a gun. It's not safe. Either the drug dealer is going to get you, the crackhead's going to get you, the guy that's jacking people to survive, to feed his family, he's going to get you. You can't walk around without a gun in the hood. You have to. It's against the law. But some people would rather get caught with a gun than to be killed without one.
Gun violence, you're talking about gun violence. Okay. How does the guns get in the hands of the people that's committing these crimes?
I think it's from the boats, the planes, the warehouses that people in the hood don't own. That's where they get them from. They're filtered into the neighborhoods from people who don't live there because it makes a lot of money for them. And the kids only have to go to the corner store to get one. You can buy a gun for $50. If it has prints on it, you can get it for $200. If it's got a body on it, you can get it for $300. It takes nothing to get a gun. Everybody can get one at the corner store. You can go to back alley in 3 minutes and get a gun for $50.
And we hear a lot about the pros and cons of having these guns. You have some people saying, okay, we need to have guns in our home for protection. But then again, what happens when that individual, a child uses that gun in the house? You know, it just happened like an accident.
Right. I was just at a cemetery this past weekend on Saturday. A 3-year-old boy, his name was Anthony Jaden Logan. He was only 3. His father was going to just go right down the street He wasn't going to be gone but 2 minutes. Before he can get back, that little baby picked up that gun and shot himself and killed himself. And you can't punish that father enough. There's nothing you can do to undo it. He's not going to bring his son back. But you can monitor what you do from here on. You can not put a gun where a child can get it. Put a lock on it. There are gun locks for free.
Right.
You can go to CMPD and get a box full of gun locks. If you need 20, they'll give you 20. You don't have to pay a dime for them.
Okay. So what did the individual say his justification for not having like a lock on the gun?
He wasn't going to be gone but 2 minutes, so he didn't think anything of it. Some people think the kids are mature enough not to pick it up. They think they're smart enough not to shoot themselves with it. So he's thinking in his mind, oh, I'll be right back. He ain't going to touch that gun. He was so wrong.
But the children, they're looking at television, even on the cartoons, you see the guns being used, but when the individual gets shot, they may get up. So the kids thinking this is kind of like a television, the person's going to get up.
Right. The separation of reality from fiction. A child, even a child 12 years old, can't separate that. They think what was on TV is going to happen to them. They think if they pick that gun up, they're going to pull that trigger, they're going to be like the big bad man of the West, and nothing's going to happen to them. They're going to keep living. They're going to go outside and play later on. They think, like you said earlier, they have a reset button. They can redo it.
Okay, I mean, there's so much violence in our community. I mean, we're not only talking about the children, but we're talking about the adults. What impact does that play in a family when you have a individual that is killed due to some type of violence?
They internalize it a lot, especially the children. The adults are supposed to be strong, and that pain from losing someone makes them weak inside, but they don't want to show that, especially in front of their children. They don't want to show weakness, so the opposite of that is to be aggressive and to act angry and act big and bad when they're really hurting inside. So they'll do aggressive behavior. That's not how they really feeling. They're trying to protect themselves from the pain that they're feeling inside. The children are the same way. The children get aggressive because nobody's talking to them. Nobody will say, well, your uncle got killed last night, and how do you feel about that? The children are sent to the back room to play. This is grown folk business stuff. Go in the back and play. When you don't talk to a child, they stuff it inside, and it comes out at the age of 15 and 16 at the barrel of a gun.
I see you got some pictures of some children on your,
Yeah.
exactly what does those pictures mean to you?
This means that the community are going to never forget what happened to these children. 4 of them died within the last couple months. All of them were murdered. Kevin Rodas, he was killed a little more than a year ago. That's the one that broke the piñata, was searching for the candy.
Okay.
And his killer is still walking around Charlotte, North Carolina. He's not way over and overseas somewhere. He's on the bus with us. He's riding the trains with us, standing behind us in the grocery store. That's what happens when the homicides are not solved. The ones that did it are among us. And these children here, I engage people in conversations about them to get people aware that this isn't a problem that has gone away. Someone is still dead, and families are still crying, and killers are still walking around. Who are they going to shoot next? Your child? Whose child is next? If we don't do something, we can't afford not to do nothing.
I know you attend a lot of those vigils that they have for the children and stuff. How do the families deal with the loss of a loved one that's so young that never really had the opportunity to see life?
They don't know how to deal with it. They don't deal with it. They not they try not to deal with it. They hide themselves in alcohol, drugs, activity that they know they shouldn't get into. They get into trouble. They hide from it. They run away from that pain. But you can only hide so long, and that pain hits you inside, and then you're bawling down, crying, and you're destroying your own life instead of fixing what really happened to that